Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. Another episode of News and Prophecy, linking the things that are happening worldwide. All right, to the Holy Scriptures, all right, via biblical prophecy. All right, so that the faithful remnant elect of the nation of Yasharallah, the nation of Israel, can know and understand that the words of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah are faithful and true. All right, as is being spoken by the holy prophets, all right, which were foreordained from the foundation of the earth to be here, all right, in these times, in Babylon the Great, as well as scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, prophesying the downfall, all right, and speaking the end into existence. All right. And when you go into biblical prophecy, all right, there's particular key nations, all right, and events, all right, that would be very, very important to focus on. This is why the scriptures, speak on the importance of the watchmen. OK, the watchmen are supposed to be watching in these times, embarking. All right, like the word Kalab or Caleb. It means dog, faithful, but dogs are known to protect you, to watch, to bark. All right. When, intruders are coming, and this is what the prophet should be doing in these times, as a very, very dangerous, wicked, rebellious system. All right. Is getting ready to try to set foot in the earth in the form of the NWO. OK, we talk about it all the time. And pretty much their plan was always on the dollar bill. All right. They always let you know, as you can see here, Biden's cash-free central bank digital currency is coming this December. OK. And how long have we been telling you these things were coming? Through the Holy Spirit or Hakwadash. All right. Through the inspiration of the Most High. All right. Yahweh, through his son, Yahweh Shai. The Holy Spirit has been sent to the prophets who will be raised up in these times to tell you of the things that must shortly come to pass. Okay. And you have particular Israelites who are settled on their lees and they're not barking. And for years, they mocked the talking point of the MOTB. All right. Of a, microchip being the standard. All right, of how you interact with the earth and how you buy and sell in the future. And here it is. OK, there you have the guy Elon Musk, which he's just the face of millions of other Israelites who are working on these projects. He's not the only one coming up with brain interface ideas and, brain chips and stuff like that. That is the new wave, period. OK, there's various companies who are even ahead of him, OK, in this technology. So everything is playing out as saith the Holy Scriptures, as it says in the book of Habakkuk. OK, the second chapter, it says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. And these prophets wrote these visions down for us in these latter days to come to life, all right, and be able to do, through the Holy Spirit, put these things together, okay, and sing the new song. The new song is being sung. It ain't got to be sung. It's being sung, okay. It ain't, we got to start over. This other group is saying, no, the new song is being sung. It's in the earth. And a part of that new song, all right, is an evil eye and warning towards this technology that this beast would set up in the planet Earth. See, when you go into biblical prophecy, okay, the biblical Edomites, okay, and Babylon the Great, the beast system, they all go hand in hand. And see, for years, this devil has been able to hide from who he really is. He's a fugitive. He's been able to hide under pseudoscience and lies and corruption, which all of that is ultimately being swallowed up by life, all right, which is in his word. We have a testimony, and this is how we overcome under the blood of Yahweh Shai, which covers us in this grace period so that we can be entered into the new covenant. And the devil wants to stop that, as the Lord has a plan to put the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward part. The devil has a plan, all right, to put his left hand technology in your inward part. Okay. And that will be the way that the new world is run. Okay. Remember, all right, on the back of their dollar bill are these Latin phrases. All right. Annuit conceptus, neuro ortum seclorum. All right. Now, when you go to the understanding of what those things, and why do you think they put this on the back of the dollar bill? All right. Because it was the dollar that pretty much is leading into this system. All right. To where now everything is going to be switched. Okay. Now, reading this, it says also on the reverse side of the dollar bill, there are two mottos scribed in Latin that have been directly linked to the works of the Roman poet Virgil. See, Rome is ruling now. Okay. We're in the modern day Roman Empire, and it's a technological Rome. You see? And they're going to make you bow to this image, okay, via technology. It says the first phrase is located just above the I, and it reads annuit conceptus, derived from the Latin annuo, meaning to nod or to approve, and coeptum, undertakings. Okay, let's look at what an undertaking is. Okay, so the approved of an undertaking. And as you can see, it says, so an undertaking is a formal pledge or promise to do something, the action of catching up with and passing another vehicle, you know, transcending. Okay, transcending, you know, their enterprise, campaign, scheme, plan, which ultimately is a conspiracy, man. Okay, so the phrase literally means he approves of the undertakings. Who's the he? Satan. Okay. They're saying our God approves of our undertaking, and then the phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, located just below the pyramid, literally translates, okay, the New World Order, or the New Order of the Ages. Okay, this phrase is particularly has been supposed linked with the so-called Illuminati, Freemasons, and all the sea theories. You see that, which those are getting ready to be outlawed. These talking points. This is why the word is getting ready to be scarce in the earth. It's abundant, but it's getting ready to be scarce because Esau will be made bare. Okay, and this testimony, all right, under the blood of Yahweh Shai is how we overcome. And a part of the testimony, the new song, okay, is to expose who he is, his plan, and he's bound to that plan. That's why he's not stopping. He's literally doing exactly what the scripture said he would do. Okay, so yeah, they put on the back of their dollar bill, all right, which is a high form of witchcraft itself. Okay, a dollar is supposed to be a measurement of gold or silver. See, they took money from behind a dollar, and they have people chasing after ultimately debt. Okay, but it's strong because of ultimately what? The force, the sword, illusion, evil, wickedness, Satan. All right. So they've used that dollar to ultimately get people drawn into a lust, into this system. All right. And now they're getting ready to use the money, which is your way to buy and sell. All right. They're going to switch it. They're going to make it digital. You see? And with this new world, this new way, this fourth industrial revolution, let's go here real quick. This is this guy, Steve Quayle, I believe his name is. Let's listen to what he says.
Most people forget The United Nations Religious Charter by David Spangler in 1978 said no one will enter into the New World Order, global reset, without a Luciferic initiation and without a pledge of allegiance to Lucifer.
Okay, and what is that pledge of allegiance going to be? All right, what are you, as the subject, going to do in order to say that you have bowed the knee in reverence? Okay, a token of reverence into this a particular god. Okay, this image of the beast. Well, it's going to be via what? The charagma, which is what John the Revelator saw when we get Revelation the 13th chapter. Okay, he saw this particular revival of Rome. Okay, do what? Come, all right, and become a power in the earth, and through miracles, their military might, have people in awe. Okay, and bring back the spirit of ancient Rome. Okay, and at the very end, as we'll get it, he saw them issue forth a decree, as many kings and rulers have issued forth decrees for you to bow, okay, or do a particular thing, bow to an idol. And that's what this is, okay? When you look up this word mark, okay, because none of those garbage breakdowns that these camps are coming with are speaking. Sin, Christianity. No, what we see speaking is what we've been saying. So that word is charagma, a stamp imprinted. Okay, and I'll just jump to the point. A mark branded on horses, because that shows what master owns that horse. Just as in, Greek culture, you would put a brand on your body, all right, as a reverence or a bow of, to your God, to that particular God. A thing carved, sculpture, graven work, an adulterous image, okay? Something sculptures. So this would be particular device created by man, okay? When you go to the root of that, you have the word karax, a pale, all right, a palicide, all right, with something that is stuck, something pointed that sticks into the ground. Okay, so everything surrounding the narrative of the MOTB is being laid, okay, into fruition all around us. All right, the groundwork for that MOTB is being set up right before our eyes. Now, when you go to the book of Revelation 13, it talks about the image of the beast. Okay, and ultimately, in times past, particular rulers made images that you would bow to. Okay, well, the image of the beast, all right, which is the ways of Rome. Okay, the way they govern the earth. They have a senate. You have the Colosseum. All right, you have the markets, stores, malls. All of that go back to ancient Rome. You see, we're living in Rome, literally. You see? But the way that you're going to live in Rome now, the way that you're going to bow to that system is getting ready to take a very, very quick turn into the earth. You're going to bow to the image of the beast via technology. Okay? And they're going to link you with technology as a man, as a human being, as a man, as a woman, your children. They plan on linking everything to artificial intelligence, which artificial is artifice. All right? Counterfeit. It's not real. All right? It's something made up of men. That's why an artificer would create an image for people to bow to, where you have the artificial intelligence, created intelligence, which is ultimately artificial wisdom, created fake wisdom. Okay? And you're going to take humanity, men, okay, and women and nations, and they're going to enter them into a NWO, a new way of living via the system of buying and selling. Okay, but ultimately, this is going to be the new way of life. Artificial Intelligence, a secular look at the digital anti-messiah. Okay, and we're just going to read a little bit of this article, and then we'll get into it. Okay, it says, why do globalists have a deep-rooted obsession with artificial intelligence, AI? What is it about the fervent quest for an autonomous, digitized brain that sends them into fits of ecstasy? Why is this now the new talking point? Why is this talking point everywhere of brain interfaces, brain chips, mind control? Why? Transhuman, transcending what it means to be a human, rewriting people's inward code. Why do you think these things are being spoken of so hardcore on the earth? Well, it's because the nations, the men, all right, the rulers on the earth, the Edomites and the heathen that are joined into them are bound to biblical prophecy. They have to do what the scripture said they were going to do, right? And that's what they're doing. It says, is it all about what AI can do for them and their agenda? Or is there also a darker element to the concept that is so appealing? It says the WEF, all right, World Economic Forum, which Klaus Schwab was there. Okay, he's like the main speaker, and a lot of it says an organization dedicated to the globalist great GR agenda, and the GR is this. You see it right there. I'm circling it. All right, that's one of the things that'll get your video flagged. But who gives a damn at this point? You see it. Okay, the GR agenda, the fourth industrial revolution and the shared economy dictates a large portion of every annual meeting in Davos, all right, Switzerland, to discuss on AI and the expansion of its influence over daily life. Now, when you hear about the fourth industrial revolution, you Israelites, we have been telling you about this. This is something you should know about. Okay, you have this guy here, Klaus Schwab, okay, talking about what the fourth industrial revolution is. Let's listen to a little bit of this, and then we'll get another video. Remember, this is a new way, a new world. See? And they put it on the back of the dollar for a reason. All right? Because it is that dollar that has people under a trance. The dollar has become a god. See? And now, as the scriptures say, Sirach 27:2. Let me start at 1. Many have sinned for a small matter. All right. And he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. You see that? So if your mind is set on having abundance and in this world flourishing, you're getting ready to get caught out there, which that's the majority of our people. Even a lot of you Israelites having an abundance and you know, the outward appearance in this world and gain in this world is all you talk about. Okay. You're not preparing our people to for their minds to be built up. Okay, to not bow the knee to the image of Baal, because that's what this is all about, bowing the knee. And many of our people are ready to bow the knee, because if you worship the image, if you worship the beast, Esau, Edom, you worship his way, his system, you think he's God, you ain't fair. You look to him, and you care more about his order than the Heavenly Father's order. You out of there, and that's the majority of our people, especially those who are in these churches. See? So he's going to use the flesh against the people to draw them into this system. See? And many have sinned for a small matter. And a lot of these Israelite leaders say that the MOTB is small. That's a small matter. We ain't worried about no chip, this, that. Now look. See? And he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. See? And sin. Not have faith, as a nail sticketh fast between the joining of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. Wherever the act of buying and selling, okay, are being, you know, acted out, okay, sin sticks close to that. You know, many have sinned, all right, over money, over gain. over buying, selling drugs. Okay? Buying and selling is tied to the flesh. You see? So those two stick hand in hand, buying and selling in sin. You see? So they're going to use the flesh against the people. And right now they're rationing all of the resources of the earth to themselves. They're buying up all of the land, and they're doing it openly because they're bound by Satan to openly tell of their plan before it plays out. You see? So when you deal with this fourth industrial revolution, let's listen to what he says it is. Okay? Because this is prophecy playing out. It's bigger than just buying and selling. That's the how they're going to draw you in, but it has more of a deeper plan. Okay, to lock you into a system to where they're God, and you're 24/7 tracked. Everything you buy, everything you sell, that's what the blockchain is for, will be tracked. Your usage of carbon tracked. All right, all in a plan to save the world, and that's what Biden's whole thing that we're going to get into is all about too. It all has to do with this whole, the green, carbon footprint agenda that was discussed at the World Economic Forum.
The fourth industrial revolution will impact our lives completely. It will not only change how we communicate, how we produce, how we consume. It will change actually us, our own identity.
It won't change just how you buy, sell, interact in the earth, what you consume. How is it going to change what I consume? What do you mean by that? See, while you niggas are sitting doing the funky Watusi and the Tootsie Roll, this is what this devil is doing. We've been warning you. It's going to change you in your identity. How you identify on the earth will be changed into a new way.
Of course, gives life to such policies and developments like smart traffic, smart government, smart cities.
Smart traffic, smart government, smart cities. Now we're going to play this one to go into more or so what it is.
The original Industrial Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
That was followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the fourth industrial revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
Digital, physical, and biological. Let's play what he said again. Look at this nigga. See that? What they're telling you is that the cell phone you have in your hand, these things are all going to be able to be linked with bio. What is bio? The body, your physical makeup. As the elder Manata Zakba did a video on the bionic eyes. You'll be able to put things in your eyes, lenses in your eyes, okay, to where if you want to look something up, you'll be able to see it in your eyes. You'll think it. Okay, you'll be a God on earth, all right, immortal on the left-hand side. This is the new salvation. And we told you it was coming. We told you.
Industrial revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
Digital, physical, biological. Digital is going to be linked with physical and biological. This is the plan. This is what they're releving up for at the World Economic Forum. This is what they're saying. Look, we got to hurry up and get this into play. And then to top it off, to show you that's where we're headed where China is already at. And even further, this guy just signs the cash-free, all right, central bank digital currency for December 13th. And we know 13 is a big part of their left-hand rituals. And we're going to find out what's in that bill. Okay? But let's get this first.
Systems.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
He pointed at his inward part. It changes us. Like, niggas, internal surveillance. You know, like the dude UL, the Evolve Whore, whatever his name is, that Mo. All right, but he said, you know, the tyrants of past didn't have the technology we now have. Okay, you know, it was always something, you know, external they would bow to. If we can now make, you know, you know, be tyrants internally, we're God. Nothing will ever stop us. And this is what the Edomites are doing. They're ultimately trying to forge a left-hand birthright blessing into the earth via their technology. Okay? And many people are in awe of these particular creations. They're bowing already. Just, you know, they're ready to do whatever this man tells them to do.
We need a different economic model that will allow us to meet the basic needs of every human on the planet, and that will be focused not on growth per se, but on maximizing human well-being.
We have energy technologies that can power our civilization.
By peace he shall destroy many. Helping. We're gonna. What did he listen to his wording? And these are all Edomites.
Economic model that will allow us to meet the basic needs of every human on the planet, and that will be focused not on growth per se, but on maximizing human well-being.
We have energy technologies that can power our civilization, but how do we get it and implement it at the scale we need at a price that people around the world can afford?
If we're able to do something to transform cities, to make it more efficient, then the impact can be huge.
We can use asset tracking, we can use IT, we can use 3D printing to decouple growth from the resource constraints we have.
The question of adding quality to quantity.
We can basically track everything to alleviate ourselves from the problem of overconsumption. You know, this is all being hidden under the guise of helping humanity, which the problem is the way that the earth is being ruled. Okay, all of the legislation that they're getting ready to pass and that they've been passing deems you, the human being, the enemy, or nature itself is the enemy. We got to get a control of nature. Okay? And we have to somehow link man, all right, to our machines, to our beast, which, you know, is their God, you know, their technology. What did the guy say? We no longer need a God in the sky. You know, the clouds will be the gods, and they will, you know, harness all of this data, and everything will be tracked and traced, and we'll know what you're thinking. We'll know what you bought. All right. You know, we'll know how much, you know, meat you ate this year. And, you know, just imagine living. It's a mass enslavement. It's a mass enslavement. That's what's coming. This is what John the Revelator saw, man.
It's really about a diverse, safe, healthy, and just world with clean air, clean water, clean energy.
Together we're fighting to preserve.
We say that on the right-hand side, the air got to be, that's going to be done through righteousness, not through wickedness. You can't clean up the mess you've made via technology. No. This is not the answer to the problem. Or the answer is the Most High setting up his only begotten Son as a ruler of this earth, and who's going to establish a righteous government, which is the throne of David. And the chosen people will have a better deal, okay? Not a device, the laws written in their inward part, and rule and govern the earth under that system. See, his mark is carnal. He wants to put something carnally in you. The Lord is going to put something spiritual in us. He's going to basically dwell in us. And our people are ready for the taking for this type of plan. And the money is how Esau is going to entice you on a whole nother level to go ahead and bow the knee.
Preserve our fragile climate from irreversible damage and devastation of unthinkable proportions.
The prediction of 5 million jobs lost by 2020 to technology is serious, but the main question is, how will we define work? How will we share the wealth?
How can you have a doctor that really knows a lot about data? How can you have a biologist that knows about medicine?
We have to create a space that enables people to think freely, to think divergent thoughts, to think creative thoughts.
We really need new education or new training.
We're working with A World in Motion and First Robotics, trying to encourage students from 3rd grade all the way up through the end of high school to pursue science, math, and different technologies.
It's this ability of digital technology to change outcomes, to truly empower people that can create a more equitable growth.
Fourth Industrial Revolution has the potential to make inequalities visible and to make them less acceptable in the future.
I was the first person in the world to be able to voluntarily move my legs while stepping in a robot. The cure will be possible if enough of the right people have the will to make it happen.
We're seeing this incredibly exciting convergence of genome editing, DNA sequencing. Governments have a very important role to play in enabling the safe and effective use of technologies.
We need to take responsibility at every level of society to adapt to these technological challenges, which are redefining what it means to be completely embedded in this world.
They're going to redefine what it means to be in this world. See that? And this is a high-level rebellion against the Most High. Okay? So the UN, as you can see here in this article, the title of the article off of Blacklisted News, Artificial Intelligence, a Secular Look at the Digital Anti-Messiah. And that's exactly what it is. The image of the beast that you will bow to. As a matter of fact, let's get Revelation 13. Okay. I start at 12, and he exercised it. All right, who's the he? All right, the revival of Rome, basically. All right, which would start at the Renaissance and end here in America. All right, along with the NATO and the EU. That makes it a beast system, which, you know, headed by Babylon the Great, which is Rome, the modern-day Roman Empire.
But the truth is, Knights of Columbus, Opus Dei, Knights of Malta, Club of Rome, Council of 300, Council of Trent, Council on Foreign Relations, the list goes on. All of these are suborders of the Jesuit order, of the Holy Roman Empire, the rulers of today's Western world, the owners of the United Nations. America is their new world. Rome owns the world. Rome established the new world in which we live today. The New World Order has already been in place since the mid-40s. The NWO is not coming. It's been here for a long time.
Okay, it says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. Okay, because remember, the first beast's deadly wound was healed when you read up in the chapter. That was fall of the Western Roman Empire, but it was rebirthed into the earth through a renaissance. What you see today is this is a completion of the Renaissance, the rebirth of Rome. Okay, the Edomites. Okay, you can look up Edom, Rome, and you'll see that the two are linked. Okay, it says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and calls it the earth and them which dwell therein, to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, Rome. Okay, that's the power structure they're embedding in the earth. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven in the sight of men. And the first time that happened was when NATO bombed Kosovo or Bosnia, in that area. All right, but then that led to great things like Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and the great military we know today of the beast system, especially America, NATO, okay? It says, and when people saw that, they were like, wow, okay, this is this is God. Okay, and it says, and they deceived them which dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. Okay, their technology, their military might. People have been deceived into accepting this as God over the true power of the earth, who set them up. He set up you Edomites. Okay? So the world worshiped him by the means of the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Okay? People have, through technology, people have thrown away the belief in a higher power. Science, technology are now the gods people, allowed to govern their thinking and what they fear and who they, their behavior is dictated, after, who their fear is dictated after. It's man via his technology. Okay? Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. All right? You should tie yourself. You should enter into this image. Okay? And that's going to be via technology. Okay? You're ultimately bowing to ancient Rome via the new Rome, but it's via technology. All right? And left-hand practices, sorceries, which had a wound by a sword and did live. Rome was the beast that had a wound by a sword. It fell, but it did live. It was rebirth. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. This system gives life unto ancient Rome. Okay, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast that they should be killed. And this word killed is actual kill, but it also means to be separated. If you're not down with what's going on, if you're not down with this new way, okay, if you're speaking against it, okay, in any shape, form, or fashion, you're going to be separated, okay, from fellowship. You won't be able to buy, sell, do particular things, and you can eventually be killed. And this way of linking you into this very system, okay, I mean, even the what they've done with the medical field over the since 2020. Okay, people bowed to the image. All right, and that's another form of the image. All right, their healing practices. It's all tied to gods, as we know. The very symbol of the American medical field is the snake on a pole, which goes back to the Roman god of healing, Asclepius. Look it up. Okay? You're accepting their image. You're accepting their way. You're bowing to them. You worship them. And that's many of our people. And his way of linking you into that system is what? Causing all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their forehead, right? So let's go back to this article. It says the UN holds extensive policy session on artificial intelligence and has been spending a considerable amount of energy to establish ethics rules for development and use of AI. At the course of the UN, who recently said that they're going to attack people who believe in sea theories and who bring up the Rothschilds and who, we've been bringing that out. If you don't know, ask on the comment board. We'll give you the article. It says, at the core of the UN's effort is the assertion that only the UN is qualified to dictate and control AI technologies. And who really controls the UN? It's the elite families just hitting under a particular union. Okay, the United Nations. Okay? It says it's qualified to dictate and control AI technologies for the good of all mankind. And of course, AI governance is slated to go into full effect by 2030, according to the UN own white papers. Okay? And you can go on in this article. Okay, but this is the new way. Linking man with the smart cities, with the fourth industrial and everything else. So going to what Biden has done, Biden's cash-free central bank digital currency is coming this December. What we're going to do is play this video. 1 second.
Well, some of America's smartest men, including Robert Kiyosaki, investment guru and author of the personal finance book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, have some choice words for Executive Order 14067. It would behoove you to listen to them. Kiyosaki called President Joe Biden's signed executive order the most treasonous act in U.S. history, and the creation of a central bank digital currencies, or CBDC, as communism in its purest form, encouraging Americans to stay awake. And he's also joined by Jim Rickards, another economist, investor, and former CIA official, who's calling it a step toward the end of cash, the greenback in circulation since the Founding Fathers. The new digital tokens can be turned off if the government doesn't like what you're doing. And Rickards has 4 decades of experience on Wall Street. Rickards criticized CBDC and labeled it as Bitcoin's evil cousin. He also exposed the supposed singular event called C-Day, which according to him will take place on December 13th, 2022, and will disrupt the traditional financial systems in the United States. He said when what he calls C-Day happens, paper money would be worthless and the US dollar could crash. He further added that consumer spending and access to basic needs would be restricted, and people holding too much money would be penalized. Going further into this, in terms of practicality, you want to keep your internal combustion engine car? Your digital dollars suddenly won't pay for the gas.
Yeah, they're gonna do away with the cars that aren't within the guidelines of their digital system and linked. Okay, he just said it. You won't be able to get gas. And there's a video I have here. Wait a minute, let me bring it up. Listen to this.
And it is time for the Hot Topic Buzz. So get this, the World Economic Forum is now looking to reduce ownership of private vehicles. Yes, the forum claiming that this is a way to reduce global reliance on critical metals like cobalt and lithium as they make a push toward green energy. Dig in, give up your car, why don't you?
Yeah, the World Economic Forum sponsors that little get-together, that boondoggle in Davos every year. Why do major private CEOs even go to that thing? If these are the policies that the World Economic Forum are espousing, they're essentially saying, trying to take away your free will. Oh, you can't drive a car. And again, trying to apply the ideas out of Europe onto the United States. Europe has a lot of mass transit. It's a very small continent. And North America, not so much. So stick that idea where the sun doesn't shine.
Well, I have gone to Davos for 20 years for the World Economic Forum, and it's always been an incredible opportunity to hobnob with the leaders of the world.
And don't get it twisted. She may be there, all right, but the wristband she has on only allows her to go so far, all right, within the meetings and what's being said and who they're around. All right, and Fox News is set up, but they're set up for particular talking points against the globalist agenda. Okay, to set people up, to believe that they have a freedom of opinion and choice. Okay, and this is, these talking points are going to lead to people losing their mind, because the average person is going to look up and see that their life is significantly worse under the rule of Joe Biden. They don't have no damn money. They don't have no rights. They can't afford anything. They're constantly being told that they have to do this. Things are changing. Life ain't going back to the old way that it was. Okay? But this world is getting ready to change. Okay, your old school car and stuff like that, as we just read here. Let's go through it again. I believe it was around this point. I'll just start at the middle point. But if you have a car that's off the grid, you won't, when they change the money, that money won't be able to get gas for that car eventually. Of course, things are going to be gradual. But that's the plan.
2022 and will disrupt the traditional financial systems in the United States. He said when what he calls C-Day happens, paper money would be worthless and the US dollar could crash. He further added that consumer spending and access to basic needs would be restricted and people holding too much money would be penalized. Going further into this in terms of practicality, you want to keep your internal combustion engine car? Your digital dollars suddenly won't pay for the gas. You'd be forced to buy an electric vehicle. And Rickards calls it a tip of the fastest iceberg. With Biden bucks, the government would be able to force you to comply with this agenda, because if you don't, they can turn off your money. And this won't be like freezing a bank account. It'll be so much easier. America will become a surveillance state, much like China or North Korea says. Is this scare talk? No, it's just Executive Order 14067. Biden signed it on March the 9th, 2022. By the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and laws of the United States of America. Look it up. Now, this is coming from WorldNet Daily. I'll leave the link down below. Of course, I know you got a lot of comments. Leave them.
Now, he brought up China. Let's check this out. This is what's coming here.
If you've ever wondered about some passages in the Bible, how can a government restrict the population so that you cannot buy or sell unless you have a particular mark? Well, this is the answer. We're literally being set up for that kind of government control. The Chinese government is pushing ahead on many fronts to restrict what its population can and cannot do. They already restrict the right of assembly. They already restrict religious freedom. They certainly restrict political speech and any speech that is critical of their government. And the way they run things is definitely cracked down on. All you have to do is look at what's happened in Hong Kong over the past just 2 years, and you get a very clear picture of where they're going. But they want to control, and they're doing it right now with social media scoring, where if you don't score a particular way, you're not allowed to travel. That's already in place. But just imagine a government that if you step out of line, they can now turn off all your money and do it instantly. So you cannot buy or sell. You don't have the right in the marketplace to participate anymore. That's what digital currency allows a government to do. And if you think it's just going to happen in China, think again. The Federal Reserve already has a study group looking at a digital currency for the United States. Why are they doing that? Because they're afraid China will usurp the U.S. and become the world currency. That digital currency is taking over. So you see all the action happening in the stock markets, the various markets for Bitcoin, other digital.
So this is the system that's coming to America, just like in China. All right, where, pretty much you have a social credit score. And what you're able to do, what you're able to buy, what you're able to sell, what you buy, what you sell, what you consume, all of that is tracked. Okay? And that's coming here. This is the system they're trying to set up now. All of you niggas who was crying for Biden, well, you got what you asked for. Okay? Biden's cash-free central bank digital currency is coming this December. Okay? So 2023 is going to be hell. Okay? President Biden is set to roll out a cash-free system this December via a newly formed central bank digital currency. Executive Order 14067 signed by Biden gives the elites the power to create central bank digital currencies, distribute them at will, steal them from you whenever they want, and shut it off when you don't do something that they approve of. Okay, this is going to be tyranny on a whole nother level. Okay, now we'll go back here. Let's read this article here. Okay, ultimate doom. December 13th, 2022, now called C-Day. Biden bucks central bank's digital currency. Executive order, all right, as you can see there, 14067. It says buried, and this is the thing, the scriptures say your own mouth is going to condemn you. Your own kind are condemning you. Okay, but they do it so that the prophets can hop on it and bring it out. Job 15:6. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I, yea, thine own lips testify against thee. All right. It's your own kind, man, that's testifying against you. You damn devil. Okay. And you should be looking at this guy right now like, wait a minute. You Israelites should be looking like, wait a minute. Okay. Things are getting ready to change. Psalm 64:8. All right. It says in 7, but God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Now, what is this talking about? Okay, the secret counsel of the wicked. Okay, which now that is out and they can't run from it, they're getting ready to make it illegal for you to say anything about that secret counsel, which is a conspiracy. All right, but what it's all centered around, as you see here, that they, verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, the Israelites, the elect, to cut us off and cut our bands off and set up their system to where we no longer have access to our God and they can just have their way and then set up their birthright and blessing in the planet Earth, man. See? But one of the ways the Lord would mess them up is verse 8. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. People are going to be like, oh, my God, this man is really wicked. Which you just had an Israelite woman come out talking about getting on Esau. All right, that's going to, we ain't going to get the kingdom, talking about Esau, hating him. Oh, you niggas are the most disgusting individuals, man. Ain't nothing worse than Jake, man. The man of sin would have to be outed, revealed. He's going to be a talking point. All right, and he is what the Lord hates. His way, what he's about. And this plan is to undermine the Most High. Okay, so going back to this article, it says buried under a new government spending bill, Executive Order 14067, okay, called Bitcoin's evil cousin. Okay, James Richards and Robert Kiyosaki call this evil move, all right, because you're going to have Edomites who are a part of the system and who see things. And like they say, this is a treasonous act. And this is what what's this guy named George Washington warned about. And you devils are divided and through. James, it says, call this evil move to eliminate our U.S. currency and replace it with Biden bucks is the most treasonous act in U.S. history. He also explained the supposed singular event called C-Day, which according to them will take place December 13th, 2022, and will disrupt the traditional financial systems in the U.S. They're switching you over into that new world. Please understand the possible implications of the ultimate challenge to our free society. Well, like they say, free, as you know, and being able to just do and have and get and having buy this many pieces of chicken, that and all of that is changing, homie. Ain't no more free. Okay? In their eyes, it says any cash you now have saved outside of the banking system is invalid and will no longer be of any value when this process is complete. Oh, man. And see, when they're able to bring you into this system, because there's going to be particular workarounds in the beginning, they'll probably even throw you some money, on your little, you probably have to download a phone app. But there's going to come a point where this will have to be in you. Any digital currency you have in the bank may be turned off by the government thugs for not obeying the correct party line. Okay, so you go out on the highways and the byways and you preaching chip, or not chip, but your money cut off. Okay, you cut off. This is the system they want. This makes them God. See? This is what Nimrod wanted to do, but he didn't have the technology to do it on this level. Okay? Building a one world order, making him God. Those selling precious metals for money will receive Biden bucks rather than cash. Okay? If you have a trade, okay, those transactions will need to be done via this system. Okay? No Biden bucks. No food, rent, mortgage, cars, clothes, etc. Everything will be denied. What else have I forgotten that is going to be destroyed by this digital endgame? And they combined this bill with 87,000 new armed IRS agents. All right, what could possibly go wrong? Let's look that up real quick. Oh man. IRS coming down with deadly force. Lively locksmith. All right, subscribe.
Well, we've been telling you about Democrats' plan to expand the IRS with nearly 90,000 new agents.
What could possibly go wrong? Well, now one of those federal job postings is raising eyebrows. According to the IRS website itself, if you're looking for a job, you would read this one and it would say that new special agents must be able to legally carry a firearm and, if necessary, you've got to be willing to use deadly force at the IRS.
Now, I would expect that for the CIA, but the IRS catches me by surprise, so let's bring in Mike Baker. He used to do that for a living. Mike, are you surprised the IRS wants you armed and willing to use that firearm?
Well, I think given the idea of,
and they remove that, off of the posting. So basically, they're getting ready to come down hard on the people. Then next is going to be if you owe medical bills, anything you owe, like, they're going to have a particular labor camps where you'll be able to, work it off. These people are getting ready to go in. It's getting ready to get crazy out here. Okay? What does the IRS need firearms for?
the IRS expansion, maybe the optics of that job posting are not particularly good. Look, what they're talking about here are the special agents who work within the criminal investigations element of the IRS. It's a right now, it's a relatively small operation. There's about 2,000 of them.
And like people are saying, they also know people are on to them. Okay, so they're getting ready to arm, people to, help them, all right, to, enforce their agenda. Let's check this out as well.
How have the central banks, this is my last slide because my 12 minutes is just up, have reacted to the truth coming out? They admit that they've been telling porkies, and now they propose to increase their power. So central bankers belatedly admit, oh, now that you've mentioned it, yes, banks create the money supply. So let's abolish that now. And also, by the way, let's abolish cash. So what should we do? Well, introduce digital cyber currency that central banks issue and control, and thereby gain total control over all economic transactions, decisions, and the whole lot you've just heard from the CEO of the GDI. So the greatest concentration of central banking power in history is really the bit they're aiming at. That's the central bank's goal. And of course, digital accounts of dissenters and regime critics could be switched off. It'd be very difficult to even purchase necessities. So this is an Orwellian dystopia of total control, the end of any freedoms. That's really what central banks are aiming at. Several central banks have, like the Bank of England, already prepared their microchip implant, RFID chip, to be implanted under your skin. And why is the sudden discussion about universal basic income from all the grassroots and inverted commas movements and billionaires? Oh.
Yeah, and if they're able to institute and they've got you kind of like used to getting, money, $1,400, they gave you those stimulus checks or whatever, to stimulate the economy, so to speak. But they got you used to that. But there's going to come a point, if they can institute a system like this, then they're able to, control what jobs you can get. These jobs pay this kind of money, particular systems and businesses that don't want to get down with the motto, they're going to be shut down. Particulars, the businesses that do, get in line, you'll be able to get food there. If you don't have this or that, if you're not linked into the system, you're cut off. All right? It gives them total control. Okay?
Universal basic income is the bribe for you to accept the microchip. The overarching trend of the 20th century is concentration of power in the hands of the few. That's what we have to keep in mind. We have to work against this. We don't want to have these unaccountable central planners making decisions. We need decentralization, and the solution.
Yeah, and they're not going to stop. Okay, let's go back to this article. All right, it says, when the Biden bucks are rolled out, many experts, myself included, believe they will begin an era of total government control and surveillance. And see, if you lean on this devil, like it says, let's get this in the book of and this is an unrighteous decree, Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievous of which they have prescribed. Now remember, in around 2007, I believe, Biden told a particular judge, you will vote on whether we use, all right, these charagmas, right? And at the time of Obama, okay, that judge, did vote on it, that very one. And under the Biden health, the Obama Care Act, when you read it, okay, within that, all right, are these devices. Okay, what more do you need to see? These are unrighteous decrees, which they've been planned these things, but they needed the false flag implemented to go ahead and justify it. And that's what happened in 2020 until now. Okay, this is Daniel 8:25, speaking of Antiochus, but that spirit is back here today. Spirit of Nero is back here today. All of these Edomites who ruled in these, the Greco-Roman, they're here today, all right, to establish that NWO that gives them the power that they always wanted, all right, to fully cut off Jacob. Okay, this is and institute their pseudo-sacrifice like Cain tried to do, all right? This is a left-hand sacrifice, left-hand immortality. They're even talking about you being healed by this technology. Okay, read that. Okay, this is going to be the new way. Daniel 8:25, and through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And that was the mindset of Antiochus, and that mindset is here in you Edomites today. By peace, because when you read into this bill, let's read this, all right, the Inflation Act, hands pinned to Manchin. It says, President Joe Biden on Tuesday signed into law a $430 billion bill, all right, while you Americans are sitting here struggling. You have particular Americans saying they're worried about, being able to pay, for a roof over their head. Everything's high, inflation. We're in pretty much a recession. Depression's coming. But they just miraculously pop up with $430 billion, all right, with this technology in this bill that is seen as the biggest climate package in the U.S. history, okay, designed to cut domestic greenhouse gas emissions as well as lower prescription drug prices and high inflation. See, by peace, he's going to get your ass. We're going to cut domestic greenhouse gas emissions, okay? Have control over the energy and how much is implemented, how much you can use, all for the benefit and betterment of the earth. So let us be able to track you, everything you do, everywhere you go, so we can save the world. Okay, no, the way that the earth is going to be saved is by you Edomites being taken out of power. Destroy them which destroy the earth, man. But then they hide it under, lower prescription drug prices and taking away inflation, which they brought all of these things. Prescription drugs shouldn't even be, to be honest. Anyway, okay, because you have the earth in front of you. What's in the earth? All right, the things, as the scriptures say, the Lord created medicines out of the earth. It says, at the White House event, Biden was joined by Democratic leaders, including Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, whose support was crucial. So they're making moves, man. They're making moves, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. This legislation to fight climate change and lower prescription drug prices, they just put them, hand in hand. And so people, and see, what does a nigga go see? He's going to see lower prescription drugs. See, Miss Maddie can now get lower prescription drugs. And she's hooked on these drugs. She's not being healed. But that's the highlight for a nigga. Biden did something good. He trying to take away inflation. It says it will also allow Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices for elderly and ensure corporations. And see how these devils try to hide. Let's get that. There's a scripture that talks about under their tongue. Wickedness is sweet. And there's one thing y'all can't tell us we didn't warn y'all. We told y'all. All right, but y'all done sit up there and rioted in the daytime. This is Job 20:12. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue. See, he tries to make it sound sweet. We're gonna help the elderly. You're destroying the elderly. Yep. Proverbs 20:17. Bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be filled with gravel. And that's how you niggas are getting ready to be. Okay, you trusting in this devil. Let's get that in the book of Isaiah 36:6. Lo, thou trustest in this staff of this broken reed on Egypt. It's a sinking ship whereon a man lean. All right, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Now, this is speaking of how King Hezekiah, all right, wanted to make a league and get Egypt to help him, as Sennacherib was getting ready to roll, all right, on Jake. And the Lord helped us, but this can be used for now. Let's read this in the NLT. On Egypt, if you lean on Egypt, it will be like a reed that splinters beneath your weight and pierces your hand. See, you leaning on Esau, that's eventually what he wants to do. He wants to put a perpetual blotch on you. Okay? Let's get that scripture. Sirach 11:33. Take heed of a mischievous man, for he worketh wickedness, lest he bring upon thee a perpetual blot. That's what he wants. Okay? And he's hiding it under these various different, talking points and terms. But we told you that these are the things that were coming down the pipe, right? Okay, and here's the publication on it. Okay, because they're bound by Satan to, put these things out in the open before they bring them forth so they can say that they told you. Well, the Most High did that, and via his prophets, okay, you've been warned. Okay? It talks about safety and efficiency. So, by peace, this man is getting ready to destroy many.
when was the last time you wrote an actual check or bought something with cash? Swiping and tapping our cards and our apps are not just the easiest way to spend money, they're the safest way, unless, of course, we misplace our phones or our wallets, and then it's a nightmare. It is hard to misplace your hands, however. And soon your hand may be all that you need to buy anything that you can afford and many things that you can't. Because a company called Walletmore is developing a very teeny tiny chip. You see it there in the x-ray? That should creep you out. The chip is like the ones that are found in smart credit cards or debit cards, and the chip gets embedded just under your skin and makes your whole hand a credit card. Joining me now is Wojtek Perota. He's the CEO and founder of Wallet.
Volunteer state. The reason why people should be worried about this is the oncoming, quietly, secretly, covert, stealth central bank currency, the central bank digital currency. And
it's not a currency. That's what you need to understand. I mean, what we're talking about is a control system that's going to be implemented in a global coup d'etat. And we're in the middle of a global coup d'etat. That's what's happening right now. And essentially, if you look at the central bankers, the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, and the central bankers are trying to create a system where they're completely free of the laws of our nation states and governments. In other words, they're asserting sovereign immunity from all laws and literally trying to create a breakaway civilization under the law where they are free to do whatever they want, including, as we know, genocide.
Yes, like what's happening. And you have a very interesting thing on Solari.com. This is the free section of Solari.com, and it's a conversation that you're having on stage, and the first 3 minutes is riveting. And it's about, they don't want to show it to you, but they finally did, and he says it's like, this big, and it's a chip. It's not no damn chip!
You believe that the chip, the chip.
So if you go to Solari, you'll see it's something that says cash.
All that mocking, all of that hard-heartedness and being proud, being stubborn. Okay? Now you're gonna have to answer to your congregations, man. Furthermore, you're gonna have to answer to Yahweh Shemiah Shai.
Every day there's a big red cap that says "Make Cash Great Again."
Yep.
If you click on that, you'll get 3 videos, and there are 2 videos I really want your audience to watch. One is a 56-second video of the BIS General Manager Augustine Carstens in October 2020 explaining that with CBDC they will have central control to set the rules and enforce them centrally in 56 seconds. It's the only time in my life I've ever seen a central banker be 100% honest. It's quite remarkable. So watch that. But the second, top central bankers in Europe told him that they're planning on chipping all of us.
We think it can be valuable for millions and millions of people. We have set the ambitious goal that we'd like to see 1 billion people implanted by the year 2030. We'd like to see 1 billion people implanted by the year 2030.
Revelation 13:16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay? That no man might buy or sell save he that hath charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So as we're showing you, okay, this technology, okay, is being boasted, all right, and brought into play, all right, little by little, all right, gradualism, okay, and this man right here may be the one, all right, who, used by the elite to usher in this plan, okay, and they're calling, like they say, it's going to be a perpetual overt slavery, and they're no longer hiding it. Why? Because as the scriptures say, all right, Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil just means deceiver, and he's deceived every damn body. The elect have awoken. Now ultimately he's being exposed. It's come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. When he sees that his plans are that everybody knows he can't get around, you know, the fact that he's the Edomite, prophecy is just going to be right there. He's going to find out he's not in control. His last ditch effort is going to be to destroy the woman. Okay, the nation of Israel, the remnant. He's going to come. All right. And when he comes, you know, fire is going to come down and ultimately take care of this devil. All right. But as this scripture says, all right, Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, is completely unreliable. Anybody who's trusting in this devil and really believes, all right, and this rebellion against the Most High as the way to go, okay, if you're lost, if you're not warning as a leader against this, you're lost, and the Heavenly Father is going to deal with you, man. So, I mean, I had more videos, but, you know, I got a slew of other articles as well that ties into this subject. So I'll just save those, the rest of these videos that we have, you know, for that time. But hopefully I will edify, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachachwadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.